Holy frixicles! You are my first welcome.
Alrighty. Ads should be all done. Hello, hello. Thank you, Spoopy, for the first. Right. Let's get back to our little author. Hi, Yarnia. I'll gladly do a stretch. You started? Oh, thank you. How are you today, Miss Yarnia? Anxious. Why are you anxious? Oh, yes. I know how that feels. Ours was not that long ago ourselves. Hope that the results turn out something that, if it doesn't make you completely happy, at least doesn't make you very mad. Thanks, Spoopy. Yeah, um, all good. You don't have to, but I understand those feelings. There's some fun colors in this particular section. Hello, Miko. How are you? I am doing wonderful. We're right in the middle of a long weekend. Everything is pretty much closed tomorrow for a holiday. The downside is that it is a rainy weekend. Ask how you were, Miko. That it was nice to see you. And I was saying that we have a gross rainy weekend, but it's a long weekend. My mic being weird. First step is we're going to try and get this book done. And we'll finish our author. For anyone who wasn't here last Sunday, you have any guesses which author this is? Down here. Yep. Okay. Um, I don't have anywhere I can pin this. See, it's just bottom here. We'll start. I don't need my scissors because I'm not actually. That is it for this color for the next file. Put it away. One last color in the book. Rusty Ecru. Oops. There we go. Part about doing the last color of a section. I really don't have to worry about counting as just filling in the holes. Started working on a new project, something I've been meaning to try for a while. Started crocheting my first doily. On row 9 of 20 rows. I'm doing alright so far. Oh, I already did save this. Okay. Oh, not. There we go. goes up. Should be able to pin this up here without a problem. Go. There we go. There we go. And trim that off. Oh wait, where's the dude? There for later. Okay, so that covers a crew for this section. Strand. A crew, put away. What do we have on the bottom here? Some black. How do I want to do this? Do the eyes first, so down. There. One. Right. Yeah. Rio. Two. Three spaces between. Three spaces between. Have the author can stare at you with disembodied eyes. This thread is not going to be long enough. I have traveling. Probably pin this off right under there. Start another bit. Do, do, do. That is one done. English. Bum, bum, bum. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I need to mess with a couple settings, so bear with me. Uh, where is it? Mm-mm. Whoops, wrong button. Uh, this. Add.
Is that from Street Fighter? That doesn't sound familiar now. Yeah, there we go. Well, okay, I died. I did a dive.
Okay, that's that one. This one.
It attacks. Better against zombies.
What was the next one I need to do? I don't know what any of that means.
You basically get a free block. Yeah, which I know is
Ooh, bunch of sirens going by. Yeah, Kofi is confusing at times. I've actually taken off a lot of my stuff out of Kofi because there was a lot of problems I was having with it that I wasn't enjoying. Uh,
the bargain box.
I'm concerning you. Why? See, the things I didn't like is I found it a little tricky to use overall, not as intuitive for shoppers. Um I also don't love how much it sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. Um I don't love how much it looks like. Yeah, I've seen there's some problems with shipping, there's some problems with pricing and stuff where stuff doesn't save and stuff like that. Um and in comparison to that and like Fourth Wall is your website for Fourth Wall looks more like your own website and not just I am on um I'm on Kofi. Where Kofi looks like you're on someone's website. Like it's might as well be a Facebook profile or a MySpace or whatever. It's more that it is Ko-fi and less that it's you. And I also had problems with a couple people trying to check out on it, which was a problem. We don't like that. But yeah, so I switched most of my stuff to fourth wall because I've liked how that's working out better. Fourth wall only charges for the things that you're making and shipping and dealing with yourself. They only charge the payment processing fee. The big benefit to Ko-fi that's not there in fourth wall is that Ko-fi you get your money right away. Where with fourth wall they're only going to pay it out once a month. So like both those companies will charge shipping on your behalf, but you're still responsible for paying the shipping. And so on Ko-fi, at least you get the money up front, so you can immediately put that money towards shipping. Where fourth wall, you have to upfront the cost of that shipping until you get your payout. Right, I think I'm done messing with the thing I was messing with. We'll see how that goes. But one of the things for me was I knew I did want to do some print on demand. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. I wanted to do some print on demand stuff. And so there's a few options I could have done, but inevitably I was probably going to end up doing fourth wall anyway. So did I really want to have an Etsy store, a Ko-fi store, a fourth wall? So like it was going to start to be too many shops. And so if you can withstand, like for me, because I can kind of withstand the part of only getting paid out once a month and having upfront the cost of shipping. I can handle that. So being able to amalgamate the two shops together is fine. I don't mind the once a month payment. But as with anything that is an alternative to Etsy, you're responsible for driving your own traffic. Where Etsy, you still have to drive your own traffic a lot too. There's also a lot of native traffic in Etsy that doesn't exist in these other sources. I mean, it really just depends what works for you. They all have their goods and their bads. I just decided that for me, I preferred fourth wall. So I'm using a combination of fourth wall and Etsy. I prefer fourth wall, but I do still have some stuff up on Etsy. But anything that's on Etsy is more expensive than what's on fourth wall because of all the extra fees attached to it. But I decided that's what's going to work best for me in my online sales. But there are plenty of people who love Ko-fi and use Ko-fi all the time, so if it's working for you, don't necessarily change it.
I tried to switch weapon, but it actually kept me on the staff.
Okay, so that is...
I didn't notice it. The base looks pretty similar.
picking up.
So I ended up shooting it.
Uh,
So that's one downside.
let's see if that's better. I'm fussing with some of my mic settings and playing around with some of those. So bear with me.
Here, I look at busted.
Well, hello, friends. Hello, Cat. How are you? How was your stream? Welcome in. Hi. What were you working on today? Tab merge.
But not me.
Ooh, a monochrome tree of life. Fun.
I'm down. Oh, I am.
I also started a new whip today, off stream, but it is not a cross stitch whip. I am trying to crochet my first doily. But today we are still working on my book club.
I'm surprised the bots.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're still very behind.
Bots seem pretty.
Oh, yes, yes. Please go take care of yourself. Thank you very much for popping in and bringing your friends here. I will see you again very soon. Have a wonderful sleep.
With gardens of full color. But they have. Yeah.
Hopefully, we get the author done here today. And maybe a bit more of his accessories. Oh, I didn't notice we have quarter stitches here. To do those. Sure. Hard to do on Ada. I don't like doing them on Ada. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. There's a sharper needle. Find a sharper needle. Now it's sharper. Ada, when you have to go through the middle, a sharper needle works. Thank you very much for the follow. So for anyone who did come in on the raid and hasn't seen this project before, this is a stitch along I'm doing through the designer Clouds Factory, and it is a bookshelf full of different authors. So it features the author and some props that are out of some of their books. I think at this point you can maybe guess which author we're working on right now. Don't pin this thread. We still have a lot more we can do with this color. Let's do the face. Yes, Alice in Wonderland person, Lewis Carroll is the author's name. We've previously done Tolkien, you can see him here. And then this castle here belongs to Jane Austen. We've also done Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe. And there are two other authors that patterns have been released, but I haven't started them yet. I haven't really even paid attention to who they are. Okay, well, we're not doing quarter stitches anymore right now. Let's put away the sharp needle. I have a tendency to actually stitch outside the holes, which is not great. Two. Did manage to go to the craft store yesterday. We picked up some more crochet hooks, some crochet thread so I could try making that doily that I've been meaning to make. And then I also picked up some linen to cross stitch on because I've been meaning to try cross stitching on linen for a long time, and I tried once but didn't really have the focus to do it. And I've got a big list of things, small things that I need to crochet or cross stitch. So I'm going to try and do a bunch of these smaller things on the linen. Do, do. Let's see. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Acknowledge, acknowledge, acknowledge. Don't forget to acknowledge the things in my activity. Dee, dee. I think I'm gonna pin this thread off and start a fresh one. Ah, thank you for the check-in. That I think is too short. Anything with? Okay, we did this row, that row, and those three. Next string. Do-do. All right, let's finish his face. Ooh, I just noticed my light's starting to die. Okay, ad break's coming up soon, so during ad break I'll change the batteries on my light. And an overhead light up here. It makes it a lot easier to see. Battery powered, so I have to change the lights usually at least once per stream. Right here, now 4. Here, I just made the crazy little buzz noise. Just meh. I swear the buzzer on that machine has like a mind of its own. One second, let me just see what color this is. That's dark, okay. Trying to figure out what color the hair was. Do, do, do. Well, that was quite the buzz. You guys can't hear it because I have my mic switched to try and reduce as much of the background noise as possible. Alright, ad break starts in just 1 minute, so I'm going to put my BRB screen up and just do a quick bio break while ads and stuff are running. BRB fade. So I will be right back after ads. Okay, I was muting extra things I didn't mean to mute. Aha. Okay, stop getting distracted. Y'all are back from ads. So let's keep stitching. Now we've got some light again. Placed the batteries, so we have nice bright light again. I had a quick cookie and got a glass of water. Life is good. Yes, one. Okay. I don't know what this song is, but I don't love it. Oops. Alright. That is all of this color for this area. That is pinned away. This thread should be enough for my friend. Ugh. Do, do, do. $7.54 there. Mark off stitches we just did. And let's do I'll save the white. Let's do the rosy cheeks first. That's just a couple stitches. I wonder if this color is used for anything else other than the rosy cheeks. I don't think I've noticed it yet anywhere else. Alright, that's everything for this color. That was a quick one. Just 4 stitches. Trim that off. Thread up there to stitch later onto him. Okay, let's do the white. I'm gonna get the sharp needle back out just because I have to do the border stitches. Around this goof's face. Extra careful with the extra spots. Oh, careful on this one. Hey, Giggy, thank you for the check-in and the lurk. Not sure it's really even noticeable, but whatever. Okay, let's switch back to the not sharp needle. That just causes me problems than it ought to. All of these old school authors all wearing white shirts under colorful jackets. Alright, pin this one back off and do his hair. Will not that one off. There's a lot of white around. Okay, what color is this? 938.
Legit. It's kind of had
That I need to change. Properties. See if that's better. Whip, don't tango.
Yeah.
Okay. And off those stitches so I don't lose track of where I am. Up in there. One diagonal. I think I have enough on this string to finish off the hair. I'm gonna play a game of chicken here. See. All right. That's him done. I'm gonna stick this thread down here with these ones because I can't pin it off anywhere right now. They're all just the threads that I need to come back up and weave in later. Okay, let's put away this brown. We don't need it for right now. $7.25. Bright yellow. Move to B. Move to B. Alright, let's do circle. But I want to change the playlist. Let me. Hey Kitty, how are you? Indeed, books. You're very good. Well, that's lovely. I tried nasturtium for the first time yesterday. Been growing it without actually ever trying it. Yeah, it's peppery for sure. You don't love it? Uh, it could be very overpowering for me. Yeah, I do think it looks really cool. I'm really amused with how it grows. With the whole, like, it goes all out and viney first, and then, like, starts filling back in. This is kind of really neat. It highly amuses me. Yeah. I got two different ones. I got a vining one and, like, a non-vining one. I don't know if that's going to make any difference. I originally only bought them because flowers. Just as, like, a flower filler or something for in the greenhouse. But extra bonus that I can add a little extra kick of something. I don't know if it actually does or if that's just what the seed company tried to sell me on. Yeah, it could very well just be marketing. Like, they don't actually, like, vine the way, like, peas and cucumbers grow out the little tendrils that hook to things. Doesn't grow those, but will vaguely loop around if, like, you trellis it with some bigger trellises. So, I don't know. Either way. Also, all of the extra seedlings that I grew and tried to sell, I've now sold out of. So, that worked out well. Yeah, I basically turned like $30 and some time into $300. Yeah, definitely gonna be doing that again next year. Do less tomato, more, a lot more nasturtium. Nasturtium was a big seller. So do lots more nasturtium. Nasturtium and marigolds were the two big ones. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, the perennial herbs. Got a couple things, but it's also the challenge of I am actually space limited. Your guys' visit this year is going to be extra interesting because Theo is even more nuts now. You guys haven't seen him in a while. I would really love to be able to get like a good lavender patch going. That would make me very happy. Yeah, probably. Yeah, last September for cottage. And he's a different kid now. Although he can still very much be bribed with berries. That has not changed. So you still have your free in to being awesome. Yep, very much berry boy.
Oh, and then I don't know.
Is there anything you guys need us to have arranged before you get here? I don't think so. You have a place to sleep. You come bearing a carload of food every time. Good. Okay, sounds good. That weekend's the end of Reed's vacation anyway, so we're home all week anyway for the most part. I mean, I'm always here. But means no matter when you show up, we're not like waiting for Reed to get home from work or anything like that. Yes, projects were decided. As long as they don't change between now and then. I think the plan was to build a raised garden bed in front of the greenhouse to kind of block off that underspace, make it look prettier. Since the greenhouse is like, a couple feet off the ground, to do that, to build a raised bed there, fill it with some junk. And then I think we were also talking about trying to put shingles on the plywood sides of the greenhouse on the exterior. I don't know if that one's still happening, but maybe. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. I just don't know if it's happening right now. I think those were two things we were thinking of, whether they both get done or not. Because we like the look of shingles. To protect it and look pretty. Because it would look better than just plywood. Well, wood shingles look pretty. I don't know. Maybe that's what Reed is looking at. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. The idea is that it's not supposed to take forever. It's just a fairly simple project. It'll go twice as quick with having more hands. Yeah, exactly. Keep the rain off of the plywood. Keep that protected a little more and just, yeah, also make it look prettier since it is right in the front of our house. It has already been getting up to like 38 degrees in the greenhouse this last week. It's insane. Getting up to 38 degrees during the day and like 1, 2 o'clock at night. Nuts. Mind you, it was really hot the first half of this week. And now with the rain yesterday and today and tomorrow, it's gotten cold enough we turned the heater back on. I don't think my spinach and lettuce in the greenhouse are going to last much longer. Before they start bolting like mad. I tried to grow some spinach in like February. Yeah, I tried to grow some spinach in like February in the house under my little lights, and it like bolted instantly. It's so funny. Guess I'm keeping the house too warm. Like it didn't even get big enough for me to get like a leaf out of it. It just went, "Hi, flowers. Enjoy." I'm getting consistently right now. Every couple days, I'm able to cut a handful of baby spinach out of the greenhouse and freeze it. And so once that all dies off, put something else in those pots until the fall. We'll probably try and do another round of spinach in the fall. Leaf lettuce everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this week was Reed's other week of vacation. Spent most of it getting the rabbit hutches cleaned up that we got. He's just, yeah, well, they self-seated. Oh, I forgot to send you a picture. I'll have to send it later. I was in the greenhouse the other day and I was looking at my little tomato plants, and I definitely have a volunteer growing in one of my tomato plants that, like, I'm very confused how it even got there because they're brand new pots with brand new soil and stuff. So I have no idea what's growing there. It looks like a cucumber, maybe? Like it only just got like its first leaves, so I can't quite tell what it actually is, but like hardy um stem like a cucumber or something like that. So I'm very confused. Like I just transplanted those into like fresh store-bought soil. Yeah, so you think I wouldn't have lost one, so I don't know. So I sat there, I'm like, that's not a tomato. And doesn't make sense how it got there. But I'm gonna let it grow and see what it is, at least for a little while, because I'm curious what has decided to try and take over. Yeah, I didn't expect any volunteers this year, given this is the first real, like, year of full greenhouse work. Like, mostly, like, bagged soil and stuff like that. Yep, miracle of life. We'll see what it becomes. Yeah, and basically now that I've gotten all those extra seedlings sold, it's really just about nurturing what's in there. I'm pretty much done planting anything until the fall rotation. Oh. When anything dies off, I'll be replacing it with something for the fall, but other than that, we're good to go. Gotta wait for everything to grow now. Maybe rearrange some stuff for aesthetics and prettiness or whatever. Yeah. Well, I was getting a little sketchy for the tomatoes, but with how cold it has been getting in the greenhouse in the evenings, but live or die, I've decided that they're out there now. Best of luck to them. So far, they seem to be okay with it. But, like, I'm also not planting pretty much anything outside. Hello, Junie. How are you? Welcome in. Loose fiber on the way. I am doing great. How did your stream go? What were you working on?
Shit.
Fun. Awesome. We are still working on my book club stitch along. We're making progress. Maybe one day we'll actually get caught up to current. Still got 2 whole authors that have been released that I haven't started working on yet. Okay, don't panic, Kristen. The raid is just more friends coming to hang out with us. Of course, Junie, if you need to go rest after your stream, feel free, or feel free to continue to hang out with us. We were just talking about all the planting I've been doing in my greenhouse. Yeah, I'm thinking that of course, go get some food. But yeah, I was thinking that raised bed that we're gonna build, the first thing that'll probably get planted in it is gonna be some garlic in the fall to overwinter in there. Is, I think, what we're gonna do. I don't want to plant anything that's gonna get too big or too tall in there. But yeah, I haven't fully decided. Like, I was thinking garlic, and I was thinking also just like maybe a bunch of flowers and pretty stuff. Because I am thinking that by the time we get that built and get it filled and stuff, it'll be too late for garlic for this year. But we could probably put some fall garlic in for overwintering. If I'm not crazy, right, Kristen? Yeah, that's what I thought. Too late this year. Yeah, so I figured I could put some extra flowers and stuff in there. And then fall garlic. Be able to pick in the spring. Then I don't know what I'll throw in there next spring. After the garlic. Kind of figuring this all out as I go and playing around. Well, I'm not sure we'll even get it filled with soil right away anyway. Okay. Even bush beans, I'd be worried would get too big in front of the greenhouse. Maybe? I don't know. Or we're putting it directly in front of the greenhouse. I just don't want anything to get too tall. I think the top of the raised bed is going to be like level with the floor of the greenhouse. So don't want anything to shade out the front row of plants in the greenhouse. I want things that'll mostly stay under like 2 feet tall. Hmm. I do. I do have some strawberry. Ooh, asparagus. Yes, that could work. We have wanted to put some asparagus somewhere. I have 2 pots of a strawberry something I'm growing in the greenhouse. I could also maybe throw some squash in there. Maybe? That's Yeah, it does a 3-minute ad break. So it's however many ads it can shove in 3 minutes. So that's a thing I can adjust. It ideally wants me to do 3 minutes of ads every hour. So I can break it up into smaller chunks where you only have like a couple, or I can just do it all once per hour, just one big 3-minute chunk. So you won't see ads again for another hour unless I were to just run them early. So it's a bigger chunk of ads, but it's out of the way and gone and it doesn't interrupt again. But yeah, for the squash, I do have. I don't know if you remember, there was a stone, um, big circle garden bed in the front lawn that I tried to put wildflowers in. There was wildflowers one year, and then it just went crazy, insane weeds and whatever. We've managed to put some rhubarb in there, and so it's about right now about half filled with rhubarb. We're hoping the rhubarb will kind of expand out and fill out more. We've been debating what to put in there with the rhubarb. And I was thinking of throwing some squash in there. I just um I've got a couple things started in the greenhouse. They just haven't been put outside yet. I didn't want them to risk a random late frost. Yeah, I know, rhubarb does get big. Yeah, that's kind of what we're hoping for. But doesn't rhubarb die out fairly early, or am I crazy? Um, that bed is probably almost 6 feet across, big circle. Something like that. It's huge. I might be able to put the squash in there this season, where the rhubarb's only about a third of the bed right now. Maybe won't be able to in the future, but for now I could. I also want to put something in there to help combat out and keep the weeds out. What lawn? Oh, the squash will consume it. That's fine. The squash can do what it wants to do. It's better than the random weeds that are in the lawn. I don't really have anywhere good to put squash. And desperately want to grow some squash. So I'm trying to find spots to put some squash in the hopes that they might survive something. Whatever, if it tries to escape this garden bed that has virtually no walls, I'll just kick it back in. Get back in your home. I have nowhere to pin this right now. Over there. The big problem right now is really just finding the time to grow everything, because I don't have the time. Like, that was a big problem with the bed out back, is with the little guy, I didn't have time to weed it enough, in addition to everything else. So at least the greenhouse is eliminating a lot of options of there are still occasionally some weeds in the soil, but substantially less. A lot better control of it. He's getting slightly better now in that, like, I can do some stuff in the greenhouse and he'll be just like playing on the driveway or helping me in the greenhouse sometimes. That's usually short lived, but he tries. Or, like, this week we just set up the little, like, plastic tiny pool and he's been sitting in that while I've been fussing in the greenhouse. But he still only has patience for so long. I've got, like, maybe 15 minutes before he's annoyed that I'm taking too long. Like, that's not enough time to fully weed and combat huge invasive weeds. Enough time for me to do a quick check of things and, like, water things. Anything that requires more time has to wait until the weekend. Exactly. So at least the greenhouse means that the weeds are substantially reduced. Well, like, thankfully things like major kind of pruning and stuff like that can wait a couple days. Or at least can wait, 8 hours until Reed gets home from work, kind of thing, and I can go down to the greenhouse for a few minutes without him. Stuff like that. But I usually have enough time that I can get out in the morning with him and get everything watered. Just getting anything done over and above watering is the major debate. So, like, for the last month, as I've been doing a lot of, like, transplanting and updating and moving and whatever, just every weekend I disappear for an hour or two into the greenhouse to get all that caught up. And that's my little escape time. Oh yeah, if you can't keep up, it's not worth it. I was getting a little worried that some of my starts weren't gonna sell for the ones I was trying to sell, and I was like, that's more tomato plants than I want to deal with. Yeah, it was a bit of work, but I'm surprised how well it turned out. I mean, I was lucky my neighbor bought out the tomatoes. because I definitely planted more tomatoes than are feasible around here because like everyone under the sun is growing tomatoes. But I could have probably sold twice as many nasturtiums and marigolds as I did. Like I had someone come from Bedford to buy nasturtiums from me. So for me, it's steer clear of the tomatoes. Don't like maybe only a couple extras if I'm gonna have any. Like realistically, everything that I planted and sold were things I was gonna grow anyway. They were things I was growing for me, and so I just started like double or triple how many finished plants I wanted to account for like germination failure and then still having some extra to sell. Yeah, just that's kind of what I've been doing. Backup plants in case some of them die or whatever. Yeah, I don't. There's very little that I only have like one of in terms of the vegetable plants. What do we have in the greenhouse right now? I've got 4 Czech black hot peppers, 4 or 5. Um, I have 4 or 5 lilac bell sweet peppers. I think I have like 6 or 7 cherry tomato. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cucumber. I only have 1 zucchini. That's because I just didn't want a ton of zucchini. I've actually got like 6 or 7 cucamelons, which I'm excited about because we've wanted to try cucamelons for a long time and just could never get them to germinate. So the fact that I have that many germinated makes me really excited. Um, like 6 or 7 sweet peas, a whole slew of herbs and stuff. I've got 1 eggplant, but I didn't start the eggplant. I bought a transplant for the eggplant. So yeah, I only have 1 eggplant and 1 zucchini. I think those are the ones I have 1 of. And 2 pots of strawberries. Well, that's why I want to try like a big bell sweet pepper. Yeah, that's why I only have 1 zucchini. But yeah, I have the time in the greenhouse that it should have plenty of time to ripen, is my hope. Because I started those um when we got back from Easter. And in the greenhouse, they should be safe in there until like almost Christmas. So they should have plenty of time if they want to take that long. They shouldn't need to take that long, but if they want to, judging on past seasons of weather. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at in the greenhouse. And then I have 3 pots of leafy greens. I do have 2 watermelon, a pumpkin, and a butternut squash that need to go somewhere. Yeah, we've got an absolute crap ton of those like 5 gallon, 10 gallon, whatever the big hardware tubs are. And that's what like my peppers and my tomatoes are in. I screwed up because I am too busy talking about gardening. Yeah, I'm interested to see how. Hey, Cubby, how are you? Yeah, I'm interested to see how things are going to grow out there. Alright, have a good night, Kristen. Yeah, I'm probably 15 minutes or so away from crashing myself. You've been keeping me awake. In a good way. You're doing good, Cubby? That's great. Yeah, it's coming along. This particular author's rather fun. Although I'm not enjoying how much white is in this section. I am going to need to massively come back and do a lot of back stitching. You've been working on, is it your Golden Girls? Am I remembering right? It was a Golden Girls, like black and white one? Yeah. Ooh, Cubby. You're someone who will appreciate the thing I did today. I'm gonna show it off. I'm excited. Let me see my camera here. I'm trying to make my first doily. I'm excited. Glad you showed up. I've been wanting to show it off. Someone who would appreciate it. I actually really like it, which is not a surprise to me, given how much I like working with tiny stuff. Like in knitting, my favorite like yarn weight is fingering. So like not surprising. And like that's what I laugh of like when I spin, I can't help but spin like lace weight singles. I am like incapable of spinning anything heavier than that. Yeah, so I'm surprised but also not surprised at how much I'm enjoying trying to make this doily. Like I only started it this morning.
Oh.
Although I definitely think there's an error in the pattern that I'm following. On the last row I started. Oh no, you're having a bad day knitting, Miko. Yeah, sometimes the craft's just not working for you and you need to walk away from that particular project for a little while. Well, I originally wanted to just try and do some like crocheted uh like lace to do like a trim on a skirt or something like that. Uh, Also, just because it's also a category in our local exhibition that I could enter, and I'm insane and just want to enter all of the categories I can possibly enter. So it's like I vaguely know how to crochet. I hadn't crocheted in a long time, but I can figure it out again. So I can do crochet lace. And then Classy with her, and between Classy and hijinks and their doilies. And I was at my mother-in-law's, and she's got a bunch of like old doilies, and like a couple of them are starting to get like holes and stuff in them. I thought it'd be really sweet for Christmas to make her a couple new doilies. So now I'm making some doilies for my mother-in-law for Christmas. Is my plan. Then I also still want to make some crochet lace trim or something like that to try and enter into the exhibition, because why not? I just have to make sure anything I make purposely for the exhibition I also have a use for, because there's no prize in the exhibition that's worth me just making it for the exhibition. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm at the point where I could do that and try and recreate them, but I can just pick some that I'm making myself and go from there. Maybe in the future I could recreate those for, but I'm just not confident in my ability to read them at this point. But at least I can give her more options. I honestly don't know. Um, yeah, if you want to send me some more options, that'd be great, because I just don't know where to look to find good patterns yet. Like, I'm following one, but yeah, there's at least an error in it that I can see. At least I think there is anyway. Thank you very much for the follow. The reason I think there's an error is because in part of it, it tells me to chain 2, and then immediately to chain 2 again. And unfortunately, this pattern doesn't have a chart, so I can't quite grasp how it's all connected at the moment. It's just a written pattern. But like, I'm sitting there going, well, why are you telling me to chain 2 and then immediately chain 2 and not just telling me to chain 4? So I'm like, I think it's an error, because that part, now that I've stitched half of that row, I can see that that part is like a series where it's chain 2, do a bunch of stuff. It's all like mirrored from itself, and then the chain 2, and then like another chain 2, that I'm thinking that chain 2 was just accidentally duplicated and it should just be a single chain 2. Hi Cordy, how are you? Welcome in. So, when I first read the row, I was questioning it, but then I was like, I'm just gonna start crocheting it, see how it goes, see where it's at. But now that I'm halfway through, like, it very much feels like I can see that it's lopsided. Um, where am I? Where is it? Where's the spot? Oop. Can't really see well. My camera's not that great. But it's right here. Here's a chain 2, and here's a chain 4. But otherwise, everything else from like here to here is all like mirrored of itself. Except for right there, which is the chain 2 and the chain 2. So it doesn't make any sense. So I'm assuming that is just an error. And I might go back and tear out this row and correct it and see if that screws me later. Bad habit to always think you know better than the pattern. But, like, sometimes you do. Okay, perfect. I will look at it in a bit. Thanks. Like, I know I'm capable of Googling and finding stuff, but having people who vouch for things makes it feel a lot better. And giving me some ideas of what I'm looking at. What else do I want to do tonight? Gotta go weave all these in the back at some point in time. Free is lovely. We like free. um, let's just do a little bit of the straight line. Yeah, I'm excited because I made it to the craft store yesterday. Because my local variety store where I can sometimes pick up some yarn and stuff like that didn't actually have any crochet thread. I totally would have expected them to just have like at least a couple colors of Aunt Lydia's or something, but they didn't. So we ended up needing an excuse for something to do to kill some time yesterday. So we went into town. I went to Michael's, picked up some crochet hooks and the crochet thread. I picked up a roll of even weave linen because I've wanted to crochet on linen for a long time and haven't, or not crochet, cross stitch. I can talk. I've wanted to cross stitch on linen for a long time and just haven't done much of it. I've done it like once. So I picked up some of that. Did once a long time ago, but haven't in a long time, and I didn't really enjoy it then, but I also uh wasn't as into cross stitch as I have been lately. And I really like the look of cross stitch on linen. So I'm starting 2, 3, starting with an even weave linen. And then if that goes well, I'll consider doing the less perfect linens. But I'm thinking, what I'm really thinking is the little tin dolls that I make. Little dolls inside of the little snap tin. I want really, and the bigger dolls that I make too. I'd really like to do those on linen. I think it'll make it a lot softer on the edges where I sew them together than on an Aida cloth. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. So for the like little tin dolls, I want to make a bunch for the craft sale coming up in the fall. So I'm gonna do all of the dolls on linen, but then all of the backgrounds that go in the tin, I'll probably keep on Aida cloth. So I picked up a roll of that linen to do that. So once I finish the doll that I'm working on, that'll be the next step there. I got a lot of projects on the go right now and a lot more that I want to get done. And I was on a big rush to get stuff done for the start of April for participating in the PPE. Then I've kind of been slacking for the last little while and just kind of doing some other stuff. But now it is time to start thinking about getting inventory up for fall markets. Specifically, you know, all the Christmas ones. Alright. I did one last year. My goal is to try and do at least 4 or 5 this year. But we will see what happens, because there's a lot of variables with doing that. Alright, I think I am gonna try to find a raid target here, because it is getting close to 10 and I am getting sleepy because 5 a.m. was a long time ago. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you everyone for all of the raids. Let's see, who can I find? I'd like to go to a crafter. They're not crafting. They're not crafting. They're not crafting. What are they doing? Cross stitching? Alright, that's where we're heading. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me, Hubby. I'm sure I will likely see you in the morning. Or slightly after. We're gonna go see Alley Cat Crafts. We've got some raid calls there if you like. But thank you very much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys again later.